Hi guys, this is Chantal from Gardening with Peaceful Living NH. Baptisia Australis, also known as Blue False Indigo or Blue Indigo. It's drought tolerant, long-lived, and the deep blue flowers on it are absolutely stunning, and they are loved by the pollinators. It blooms in mid to late spring, and it comes in a variety of colors. But this variety right here that I'm growing from seed is typically blue. So today I'm going to be potting up some Baptisia Australis seedlings, and I'm going to show you how to grow it from seed too. Now these seedlings that you see over here are what you would call pot bound. They should have been potted up a long time ago, but I have been so busy potting so many other plants. Now I really wanted to do this with you, so I saved the Baptisia Australis until I was able to do it with you. We have about a foot of snow outside, and what better thing to do than potting up some plants and seeing some beautiful green plants growing. I'm using these cups that I have already put some holes in at the bottom. I put about 4 holes in each of the cups. I kind of lined several of them. I'm using a skewer to poke the holes in, and that works really well. I do bottom watering and they absorb all the water very nicely, and I have no issues with them. Baptisia Australis has really deep tap roots, so potting them at the right time is key. And you can notice here the tap root is starting to form right there. We're just gonna put them in there. If you start seeing roots circling at the bottom of the pot, you'll know it's time to pot them up. And Baptisia does not like its roots disturbed, so be very gentle when you are potting them up so that you don't damage the roots. And this one does not want to come out. You notice most of the soil on the top is just loose. The roots are actually forming at the bottom. All the feeder roots are at the bottom. The taproot forms at the top and goes down. The feeder roots begin somewhere in the middle of the taproot. Now we will be fixing these in a little bit. Use well-draining soil and make sure that the new pot is at least 2 to 3 inches bigger than the current one. You'll want deeper pots more than wider because Baptisia roots tend to go deeper rather than spread out, as you are noticing over here. So overall, I ended up with 30 Baptisia plants. This right here is the stage that you want to pot them up at, not this stage over here, because as you can see, these are kind of all limpy right now, and they're leaning over, so it's not the ideal stage. But I had to wait, one, so that I can film this video with you guys, and also because I was working on potting up some other stuff that really needed to be potted up other than these, because I have a lot of plants going right now. So once your Baptisias are all potted up, you're going to want to give them a good drink. I like to do a bottom watering, so I put them in these trays over here. This I think is from Bootstrap, which I really love. It's super sturdy. The ones also from Gardener's Supply are really good as well. I have both of them, and they are both, I think, equally sturdy. I love them a lot, and they have channels at the bottom, so if there is any little bit of water sitting in there, it's not going to bother the plants. But ideally, if you do bottom watering and you have excess water that's sitting in there, you want to dump it, because that's going to cause fungal diseases and it's possibly going to kill your plants. You don't want to do that. So just give them enough just to drink, and if you have any excess water, you are going to want to dump that out. Now let's talk about how to start your Baptisia from seed. So you want to grow Baptisias from seed. It's actually much easier than you think if you know a few tricks. I wish I recorded the process of when I started these from seed, but unfortunately I did not. I was just in the busy season of just starting all things from seed. I didn't think about taking clips for you guys because I wasn't sure if I was gonna film this video or not. But anyways, so Baptisia seeds have a hard coat on the outside, and you'll want to do a process what is called as scarifying. And that process entails either taking the seeds and scarring them with a knife gently. You don't want to do it harshly, or you want to soak them in about 140-150 degree Fahrenheit warm water overnight. And then once you've soaked them, you're going to take these seeds, put them on a damp paper cloth, and put that in a Ziploc bag, seal it, and put it in the fridge for about 10 days. After the 10 days are over, you're going to start seeing your Baptisia seeds sprouting. You don't want to wait to plant them. As soon as you see any sprouting, you're going to take those seeds and plant them. You might want to check on them a little bit earlier, because once the scarifying process happens, it's a lot easier for them to start sprouting. The thing is, with any seeds that have any hard outer shell, it's super difficult for them to sprout, and this is why you want to do that process of scarifying. You'll want to plant these seeds with the taproot deep down in the soil, and I like to leave that little seed pod that the plant has started to sprout from at the top of the soil, and this makes it easier just for the plant to sprout and to start putting its leaves on. Now there are two processes that I have followed in starting Baptisias from seed. They both entail the scarifying process and putting them in the hot water or warm water. But in one of the methods, I took the Baptisia seeds, I planted them in the soil, watered them, made sure the soil is moist, and then I took them outside and put them on the deck in our cold winter. We get really cold temperatures. I left them there for about 30 days. After the 30 days were over, I brought them inside, and it took them several weeks to start sprouting. It took them about at least 3 to 4 weeks to start sprouting. Even after that, there were still some Baptisia seeds that were sprouting a week later, some 2 weeks later than the first sprouts happened, some even 4 weeks later. And this is why I had in this tray over here, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but this tray had 3 Baptisia seeds that took the longest to sprout. So I have found that the process of stratifying them in the fridge to be much more reliable, and that they sprout a lot faster. I've also noticed that the seeds that are largest sprouted the fastest. Those were the seeds that were already sprouting in the fridge, and the seeds that were the tiniest took the longest to sprout. So in the process where we started them in the fridge, it took them about a week maybe for the small seeds to start sprouting, and then the smaller ones took about 2 to 3 weeks to start sprouting. But in the process where we stratified them outside, that they took really long time, about 6 weeks to start sprouting, if not even longer, some of them. And again, if you have larger Baptisia seeds, those are going to sprout much quicker for you, and they will probably produce healthier plants as well, because the larger the seed, the more nutrients it has for the plant to start growing, because the first growth that seed is going to do is just from all the starches that seed has in it. So out of both of those methods, you could choose whichever one you like. If you are a busy person, you might just want to place them outdoors to let them stratify. And if you do have the time to wait for those Baptisia seeds in the fridge to start sprouting and check on them often, then you might want to use that method, because it's a lot faster. But whichever method you decide to use, you'll need a light, well-draining soil to plant your Baptisia seeds in, and you're going to plant them about 1/4 inch deep. They also need warmth to sprout. This is my plant room over here. It's about between 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit in here all the time, and probably because of all the lights that I have in here, it's a little bit warmer than 70, and that helps them germinate a lot quicker. You want to keep those seeds moist until they germinate. As soon as they dry out, you'll start noticing that some of the leaves start to die off and wilt, and that's not a good thing. You want them to stay moist all the time, but you don't want them to be soggy. So one key aspect to remember when you are starting Baptisia from seed is that to be patient, because they can take between 2 to 6 weeks to germinate, depending on which method you use and the size of the seed. But once it does germinate, it's going to grow into a resilient plant that will last for decades. So whether you are starting it from seed or planting a ready grown plant for you, Baptisia is a plant that is worth the wait. Okay, I have to go now because I have a whole lot of plants that I need to pot up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!